Coming up on Ann Arbor tonight, we have a great show for you. We have Ms. United States Alyssa DelTorre. All right. That's right. We have the amazing comic Jeff Ford. Yes, that's right. And we have the very talented DJ Ell. Yeah. All right. You know, I was talking to a friend of mine in the city the other day, and, you know, we've come to the conclusion that some relationships are like modern-day bank accounts. You know, you keep investing and putting money into them, but you get little interest. You know, I am so confident that Ann Arbor is the safest city in America, and I'll tell you why, folks. I think this is true, because if somebody goes missing in Ann Arbor, their face will just, you know, end up on the back of an almond milk carton. Yeah. You know, I'm a millennial, and there's a lot of different terms these days, and I'd like to stay up on the terms, and so, you know, I've come to the conclusion that let's get coffee soon is the new never. Oh, man. You know, a friend of mine just joined a gym in Ann Arbor, and I really admire him. But so far, the only thing he's lost is about $200. You know, did you hear, by the way, the Detroit Lions are lowering their beer prices at Ford Field this season? Well, you know, because there's not enough fights in the stands. Yeah. Oh, sorry. You know, my therapist, she decided to give me some new relaxation techniques. She told me to scream into a pillow. Well, that's why I'm banned from all airlines. Yeah, Starbucks is using the new Bitcoin and is going to be using the new Bitcoin for some purchases. Well, and they're making the necessary upgrades to the firewall and the tip jar. We have a great show for you this evening, so please stay tuned. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Ann Arbor Tonight. Welcome back. Thank you. Thank you. Folks, I am so excited to introduce our interview guest for the evening. Please welcome the amazing Miss United States, Alyssa DelTorre, everybody. My goodness. Man, I mean, congratulations.
Thank you, and thank you for having me.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah,
it's
pleasure.
It's our pleasure. So, I mean, it must have been an amazing feeling. I mean, is it so? You know, you're when they announce it, you're sort of with all the other contestants.
Yes.
Right, and all of you have been competing for a long time, for this one moment. When it happened, can you describe what that felt like?
It's more like everything around you, your emotions, like it all clears out, and you get this overwhelming feeling.
Sure.
Of, oh my God, this is real.
Yeah.
Like, this is actually happening right now. Like, I visualized this, I prayed for this, I put this out there, and it actually is happening.
Yeah.
Like, the hard work pays off, and yeah, it was extremely emotional. We're also working on not a lot of sleep because we do rehearsals and preliminaries through the entire week.
Wow.
And there's events during that week as well. So it's just a crash of emotions in that moment. So I definitely ugly cried on stage.
Oh,
but,
my goodness.
Yeah.
But tears of joy, of course.
Oh my gosh, so worth it. Yes. Yeah. I love every picture of my face.
No, that is awesome. My goodness. And I just want to talk too. I mean, the Miss United States pageant, it celebrates intelligent women of all walks of life and prides itself on providing an avenue for each young woman to give a voice to those needed to be heard and to lend a hand to those less fortunate and to be a compass for those daring to dream. And I love that.
Yeah.
What is it that, in your mind, that makes the Miss United States pageant special?
So this is my first time being in pageantry this year. And what I've learned, networking with all the other girls and becoming friends with other girls who have competed in other organizations and doing some research, is this organization is so heavily based on service. So it's not about us, it's about our communities and giving back and, giving a voice.
Sure.
It is astonishing how much of a microphone you hold when you get a crown. People listen, they pay attention, and having that service and having a platform and a purpose for why you're competing is so important. And this organization really gives the empowerment and autonomy for you to build. You build businesses, organizations,
Sure.
Nonprofits. I mean, these girls do amazing things, and I'm just honored to be able to compete next to them and call them my sister queens. It's a great organization.
That's awesome, and it sounds like all of you are so bonded. You
Yes.
know, I mean, just having been through the process together.
Yeah.
So a lot of you keep in touch?
Yes.
Good.
Yes, I have a large group of girls now that we talk all the time, and we have already started planning annual reunions that we're going to be doing to all meet up and be together. So I'm very grateful to have them in my life now.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And, it's interesting, too, because you were raised in Minnesota, and, of course, after graduating high school, you went on to pursue a career in the beauty industry.
Yes.
And studied at the Aveda Institute in Minneapolis. And, of course, I've been to the Twin Cities. I love it there. As we talked a little bit before the show, the churches are amazing there.
Yes, they're gorgeous.
But, have you enjoyed your visit to, like, being in Michigan? And, of course, how do you like it?
Yeah, I love it. It's, coming from such a large metropolitan city of Minneapolis and having St. Paul right next door, and everything built out so far. I started visiting Detroit about 5 years ago, so
Okay.
I've seen Detroit come around and
Right.
all the businesses that have flourished and the culture and mix and flood of people that have come in and watching the city come alive. It's really fascinating. There's always something opening up and always something to do. So I appreciate watching that and how prideful the people are here.
Yeah.
It's great.
Well, and it's a pleasure to have you in Michigan.
Thank you.
So I'm interested, too. I mean, how does one just sort of say, you know what, I'm interested in becoming Miss United States? How does that
Let's
happen?
compete,
That's
right? It was really interesting. It started in January.
Okay.
I recently put myself back into college to pursue my degree in psychology.
Okay.
And I was sitting on my couch reading my book, studying, and my phone goes off, and it was a very dear friend of mine who reached out to me and was like, hey, have you ever thought about doing a pageant? I think you'd be perfect for it. Like, you should really consider it. And I had been acquaintances with a previous Miss United States of a couple years ago, and I'm like, I've thought about it,
Sure.
but I have no idea how to get into it. I don't know how do you start?
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking, I'm in my late 20s. I know these girls compete ever since they're like 5 years old.
Really?
Like,
Yeah.
their whole lives. Yes. So I said, okay, we'll give it a shot. So I did an interview with a coach, and we hit it off. And it's Mrs. Wendy Russo in Eden Prairie, Minnesota. She was amazing, and she whipped my butt into shape.
Wow.
And the things that I've learned, speaking, walking, posing, just the industry as a whole, knowing the customs, mannerisms, it's fascinating.
Yeah.
So that's random.
Sure.
Facebook message. That's how I got into this.
There we go. But I mean, but just an amazing journey for you. I mean, going from that to now being Miss United States. That's amazing. What would you say has been the best part so far of being Miss United States?
A couple things. I think there's two parts of it, because there's the service part, and then there's my personal part
Sure.
to it. So personally, I would say the business opportunities and the networking and things that I'm able to do.
Sure.
And that's amazing to be involved with all of that. But the most touching is putting this crown on and walking up to somebody and seeing their reaction.
Yeah.
From little kids to, I've had, women in their 60s crying.
Wow.
Like, they've never seen Ms. United States, and it was actually in a parking ramp downtown in Detroit because I was meeting up with my girlfriend, and she was like, okay, I have to see the crown on you. Like, come on, like, you're my girlfriend, put it on. So I put it on, and this car stops in the parking ramp, not worrying about anybody who's around him, and she gets out, she's like, oh my God, are you the real Ms. United States? I'm like, yeah, it happened like 4 weeks ago, yeah. And she was like, oh my God, and she's freaking out, and the way that it will always stay with her and touch her. People listen to you. Like, my words will stick with her.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of responsibility that comes along with that, and somebody who has the right mindset and intention with a title, it is amazing the things that you can do and how you can impact people. So I think that is the biggest blessing that I'm grateful for and that I've noticed having this title so far.
That's awesome. I mean, you talked about the service, but also your personal impact, and I'd like to talk a little bit about that because I found it so fascinating. So your Heal Through Health platform, right? It allows the 85% folks of women in the United States who experience sexual abuse to find resources, tools, and a path that starts the healing process mentally, emotionally, and physically. Can you share a bit about that and why that Heal Through Health platform that you represent is important?
Absolutely. So, as you stated, 85% of women in the United States at some point in their life will experience some form of sexual abuse. And not only sexual abuse, it's a larger number of abuse, right?
Sure.
And I think we all, whether we realize it or remember it or not, we've all experienced some form of abuse. And I personally experienced that at 3 years old from my father, and then dating a guy in high school as well. So it's very personal to me. And going through years of therapy, independent study of psychology, physical fitness, and changing my diet, it brought a level of clarity to me. And that's when I could start the healing process. And everybody looks at these three elements of your mental health, your emotional health, and your physical health as three separate things.
Right.
But if we look at our bodies, we're all connected.
Yep.
It's all working in unison all at the same time.
Right.
So you really have to work with all three of them together
Right.
to start that healing process. And even if somebody's not comfortable talking about an incident or experience that they've been through,
Right.
you can still start working out. You can still start making those healthier food choices, which helps to bring clarity to your mind and your heart, and you will naturally start to detox and work through that. So that's why I chose that.
Well, and I think it's great because I think that platform, Heal Through Health, it brings out the princess in everyone.
I love that. Yes, it does.
Yeah. But I'd also like to ask you too, what are some of the biggest misconceptions about pageants? And again, you talked about how they're a useful platform. But what would you say are some of the biggest misconceptions? You know, because there are. I mean, people say, oh, you know, you're a beauty queen, you know, and don't really have the time, number one, to know, like you said, you are a performer. There are rehearsals. You do have coaches. It's a full-time thing. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. You hit it nail on the head. I think that's what you hear the most is beauty pageants, right? And historically, that's what they've called them. And they think, oh, well, you know, you're pretty, so you should do it. And that's not the case at all. It's so much more substance goes into it. They look at the service that you've done. They look at your resume as a whole. If you're pursuing education, because you have to be, you know, able to do interviews in media and talk to people. And the fact that you do have such an impact on other people, they want to make sure that any message or thing that you're saying is coming from an educated, pure place, right?
Right.
It's a job. At the end of the day, I was interviewing for a job, and we go through a lengthy interview process as well. We have 5 judges, and it's a round table, and they're looking for how you're articulating your words, how you control the conversation, and really digging in to know who you are, where your morals stand, and your mental health. Really, because most of us have a full-time job. We're building something else, and then we have this as well. So that can be trying and stressful at times. Absolutely worth it.
Yeah.
But it's not just let's do some hair and makeup, throw on a gown, and walk out on stage. So all these girls are so intelligent and come from amazing backgrounds in yeah, it's a lot more in depth than just looking pretty.
Yeah. Well, and I'm sure it was was it different than what you thought in the beginning? Like what it would be?
Yes, it was a lot more intense with the training.
Mm.
And I think I fell into that too because, like I said, I didn't know.
Right.
I don't know how to get into it.
Yeah.
I didn't know what training needed. So when I hired a coach,
Yep.
there were so many aspects to it,
Yep.
and even the financial piece.
Right.
It's not a cheap hobby
Right.
by any means.
Right.
So going out and networking and marketing to businesses as sponsors.
Oh, wow.
It teaches you how to talk, how to negotiate, how to do contracts, how
My
to
goodness.
work with businesses.
Right.
And it's great.
Yeah, it seems like an amazing,
Yeah.
empowering opportunity for women.
Yeah, the things that I tell you, the things that I've learned in the last 6 months,
Yeah.
and that's how I went into it the week
Sure.
of nationals, was I already won.
Okay.
I learned how to speak in a different way, walk in a different way, work with businesses. Like, I already won. Like, I was just enjoying it. I was so grateful and so happy just to be there
Wow.
and just to learn from these girls.
Sure.
Because it was my first time.
Yep.
That, I think every girl should look into it.
Yep.
Because you learn business skills
Mm.
and life skills that you won't get from any other industry.
Mm. My goodness. So again, a lot more there. A lot more
Yes.
than just an amazing smile and being able to conduct yourself on a stage. I mean, it teaches you amazing skills. That's awesome. Can you share a funny memory you have while performing on stage or backstage?
Yes. So it was actually at finals,
Okay.
and they call it from fourth runner-up, first runner-up, all the way up to first runner-up, and then the winner. So it got down to Ms. Texas and myself, and through the whole week, we're together all the time. So I became friends with these girls, and her and I were like thick as thieves. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, girl, it's you and me. And so I start walking towards her, towards the opposite side of the stage, because
Sure.
there's a runway that we're supposed to go down.
Okay.
And in pageants, like, you go to the center, and then you have you're holding each other's hands, and you have that moment, right?
Okay.
And they capture it. And I'm like running to her at the end of the stage. I'm like, oh my gosh, girl, like. And she grabs me and she goes, honey, wrong way. Like, and she literally is directing me on stage.
Oh my gosh.
To go to the center. And she's like, no, up this way. Like, and you couldn't totally tell from the video.
Yeah.
But that was totally what was happening. So
Oh.
I'm like, if it weren't for those girls, I think I'd be off the stage
Oh my
walking,
goodness.
like, so
Yeah.
excited.
Oh man.
So, yeah.
No, that is awesome. I mean, it's amazing again, the camaraderie all of you have, because like viewers, for example, when I've watched one on television, you don't see that. What you see is the competition aspect, right?
Right.
You see the different women from the different regions, and you're like, okay, that one's competing against that one, but so you don't see that camaraderie backstage. You don't see, all of you rehearsing together, talking about, the blocking on stage and where you have to go and where you
Yeah.
have to be,
Yeah, and fixing each other's hairs,
Right.
fluffing each other's dresses, making sure our trains are good, like talking each other up
Yeah.
and calming each other down. Like, there's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love my division, absolutely love it. So the Ms. is for girls 20 to 29 who have previously been married
Okay.
or have children but not
Sure.
currently married.
Sure.
So a lot of these women have been through serious life experiences.
Sure.
And they were all open. We all bonded and shared each other's stories. So it was like this, I want to know where you're coming from.
Yeah.
And so we all powwowed first day and shared stories, and we were all holding each other's hands while we were doing your rehearsals, and then you're right, you get on stage and you see we're all separate, and you don't see that on the film or
Yeah.
on TV.
So there's a big team aspect
yeah.
to the competition, and I think that's great too, because it promotes working together,
Mm-hmm.
teamwork, but then also, again, all those business and entrepreneurial skills that you talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful stuff. For all the young women out there that are watching the show and see your crown and have visions of, being that princess,
Mm-hmm.
being that crown, What do you have to say to those women watching, or to those little girls out there?
I would say if you have a dream and if you have a desire, don't ever give up on it, and be you. Be authentically you the entire time, because everybody will pick up on that. Even if you happen to mess up, people can see the true you, and never give up on your dream, because I tell you, you can do anything in this world if you set your mind to it.
That is awesome. Yeah. Great advice. So, how can those... My goodness. Yeah. Thank you, guys. So, how can those watching, how can they get involved with the Miss Units? How can they, get involved with your Here Through Health platform and support that? And then if they want to get involved with the Miss United States pageant, how can they get involved?
So they can find me on social media. All of my handles are at Alyssa DelTorre, and they can message me or pop a comment on any of the photos, and I can direct them in the right place.
Sure.
MrsUnitedStates.com is how you can get involved in the pageant. I think that's the easiest way.
Okay.
Everybody's all over social media these days.
Heck yeah. Well, check out Alyssa DelTorre. Please follow her, tag her, and support her Heal Through Health platform. And check out the Mrs. United States pageant. Thank you so much, Miss United States, Alyssa DelTorre. Wonderful job. Keep doing great things.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
No problem. All right, folks, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we will have Jeff Ford, everybody.
Hey, Peanut, guess what?
What?
Alicia is on Camp TV. Let's watch it.
I don't really feel like it.
Why?
Because I want to watch the interview with the mayor of Ann Arbor.
Well, guess what?
What?
Alicia's interviewing the mayor.
Oh, really? That's awesome. Okay, I'll watch it.
Yay!
Thank you. How's everybody doing today? That's cool. Give yourselves a round of applause for doing good. My name is Jeff Ford, and I drive a Chrysler. A little bit about me is I'm 37 years old, and they say that when you get into your 30s that you start to lose your athleticism, but that's not true, because when I was younger, I used to play basketball, and I would be on the court missing jump shots and layups. And now that I'm older and I play basketball, I be on the court missing jump shots and layups. And at the end of the game, I walk off the court like, yep, still got it. And the good news about being over the age of 35 is I'm now old enough to run for President of the United States. And the reason why I want to run for president is for the sex scandals. I can see it now. The reporter will be on the news. Ladies and gentlemen, we have some bad news. President Ford has recently got caught having sex with an intern, and he's going to be impeached. But the good news is he's no longer a virgin. And I'll be happy. And as your president, my first executive order will be to call Stormy Daniels. What else about me? Guess who I got to meet recently? I got to meet Will Smith. I met him at a movie premiere, and when I first saw him, I got all nervous, and then I got to take a picture with him, and after the picture, he shook my hand, and he said, "Jeff, stay up, brother. And I haven't went to sleep since. He's my favorite actor and rapper, and I wanted to tell him that I got all his CDs and DVDs. But what I didn't want to tell him was I got all his CDs and DVDs on bootleg. He wouldn't like that. What else about me? I have a girlfriend. Thank you. We're in a long-distance relationship. We live an hour and a half from each other. I live in Sterling Heights, Michigan, and she lives in North Ohio. She's an amazing girl, but sometimes we get into arguments, and she wins the arguments because she's smarter than me. And every time she wins an argument with me, I'll be like, dang, Ohio State beats Michigan again. I love sports. I love NFL football, but a lot of football players have been getting in trouble for domestic violence, and they're considered unsafe to date. But ladies, if you do want to date a football player, date a player from the San Francisco 49ers, because they're not good at hitting anybody. You'll be safe with them. What else about me? I was born and raised in Detroit, Michigan. I love that city. I represent Detroit to the fullest. Everywhere I go, I tell people that I'm from Detroit. The only time that I don't tell people I'm from Detroit is when it's time to buy car insurance. Then I'm like, I live in Plymouth, Canton. We used to do a lot of wild and crazy things in Detroit, like drag racing. We were teenagers, so we didn't have any money. So we were racing in like 1984 Monte Carlos, 1982 Lincoln Town cars. Here's an impersonation of us trying to drag race. The announcer was like, "Drivers, start your engines." Okay, keep trying to start your engines. Give him a jump so he can start his engine. And after I retire from comedy, I want to start my own business. I want to call it Tell the Truth Pizzeria, where our motto is, if we're not there in 30 minutes or less, then to tell you the truth, that means we're not coming at all. Anyway, thank you. My name is Jeff Ford. It's my time.
Here at CTN, we offer a variety of different training workshops for our Ann Arbor residents as well as local nonprofits. Learn about different editing programs, Final Cut Pro, iMovie, and even Motion is available. Or how about studio production? You can even sign up for our Hotline Studio Workshop, where you can direct and produce your own television show. Go online to a2gov.org/CTN and head over to our Workshops tab. There, you can find a link to our convenient online sign-up sheet, as well as an in-depth description of what each workshop has to offer. CTN. Connect, create, communicate.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Ann Arbor Tonight. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Jeff Ford, man, what a great set. Thank you so much, man.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate it.
No problem. No, I mean, funny stuff, man. I got to tell you, every time I go on the basketball court, doesn't matter what age I am, I'm still bricking too, man.
Oh, yeah. Welcome to the club.
Yeah. No problem. But funny stuff. Man, so I wanted to ask, too, why comedy for you?
Well, it's something I wanted to do since I was like 12 years old.
Yeah.
I wrote my first joke when I was 12.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, the joke was, what kind of food does garbage eat? Junk food.
Junk food. There we go. I like that. Junk food, man. Oh, man. See, and there you go. And from that moment on, you were like, this is what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Wow. And so for you, I mean, you know, you've done a lot of great things, man. You've traveled around. You're doing really big things now in Detroit. You know, and I've seen you a couple times, too, at the Ann Arbor Comedy Showcase doing great work.
That's a great place.
Oh, yeah, man. We love the Ann Arbor Comedy Showcase. You know, Roger and Claudia do a great job over there. But for you, you know, if you could perform with someone or open up for them, who would it be?
Oh, wow. Maybe Jay Leno or something.
There we go.
Yeah.
Jay Leno. Yeah,
I like
man.
him.
Why not? You know, he's a great comic, great stand-up.
Yeah, he's really
for sure.
funny.
Yeah, oh yeah. Great, for sure. And, you know, I wanted to ask, too, I mean, you know, as a guy who has done stand-up for a long time, I mean, has stand-up been what you thought it was going to be? I mean, you wanted to do comedy when you were 12, but do you still have the same zeal for it?
Yeah, I have my ups and downs, but it's something that's about, like, performing in front of live crowds. It's like a adrenaline rush you kind of get. It's like a high.
Yep.
A legal high. You
Yep.
know?
A legal one, of course,
Yeah,
of course.
so-
I mean, nothing medicated, right?
Yeah,
But,
none of that coke or nothing.
Right. No, for sure. Well, and I mean, you know, it's interesting, too, because I think what's great about, you have such a presence on stage and you know, an innocence about you as a comedian, which I think is very rare. You know, is it weird? Because I know, you know, you and I have talked before, and naturally, you know, you're just, you've admitted to being like a shyer person. But yeah, you can still go up and do comedy. I mean, are you used to that yet? Or is there always sort of like a bit of apprehension?
Yeah, I'm always nervous until I get like the first laugh, and I kind of calm down some.
Sure.
Like I know I'm not about to get the hook or something like that.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right, man. No hook for you, for
Oh,
sure.
thank you.
Yeah, and I mean, so, too, I mean, what other advice do you have for people that have thought about going into comedy but really haven't taken that jump or maybe are just too self-conscious about wanting to do comedy and do stand-up? What advice do you have for them?
Just to do it, mainly like well, you can always just start maybe just go to like a few comedy shows just to see how the shows run.
Sure.
Or a few open mics to see like see how everything goes, how much time you get, know where the light is, and just write down many jokes as you can, and don't worry about bombing.
There you go.
It's about the best advice.
Yeah, and I mean, I agree with you. You know, I think it's one of those things where if you just keep at it and don't worry, then you'll be fine. Who was your favorite comedian growing up?
Like Jay Leno, Chris Rock too.
Oh man, Chris Rock, man, that guy is doing amazing things. He's like all the way up there, man.
Yeah, I used to like telling his jokes, but when I was younger, I couldn't do it in front of my mom.
That's right.
Like no cussing or nothing. I didn't want to whooping or nothing like that.
Yeah, that's right. Don't want to do that. No, man. But no, I mean, I think it's great. You know, you've been able to draw from, you know, Leno and a lot of the other comedians to do well for yourself. And you know, how can people continue to find out more about you and see other shows that you got coming up?
I'm Comic Jeff on Instagram.
Okay.
My profile's set to private, but if I know you're not creepy, I add you. Kind of thing.
Okay. Now, how do you decipher somebody that's creepy versus someone that's not?
You know, you got, I don't know, just, you know how the creepy person looks, just unshaving,
right.
super long beard.
That's right. That's right. So remember, folks, make sure that you're not a creep when you follow Jeff Ford. But but also, Jeff, you know, just great stuff, man. I definitely wish you the best. Any shows coming up?
I'll be at the hosting the Ann Arbor Showcase next week, the
All
24th, Friday and Saturday.
Heck yeah. All right. Well, if you guys can get a chance to visit Jeff Ford and go see him at the awesome Ann Arbor Comedy Showcase. Jeff, thanks so much for being on the show. Let's have you back.
Oh, thank you.
All right, my friend. Thanks so much. All right, folks, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Let me clear my throat. Oh, have mercy, baby. I hope you don't let me clear my throat. Oh, have mercy, baby. I hope you don't let me clear my throat. 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 Oh, have mercy, baby. I hope you don't mind. Let me clear my throat. I need these monitors right here. Music and the monitors. And it's gonna do something like this here.
We want everyone in Ann Arbor to be safe. Which is why Ann Arbor has a law requiring drivers to be 5 feet while passing bicyclists, pedestrians, or wheelchairs traveling on the road. Most traffic lanes within the city are at least 10 feet wide, so give half a lane width of space for safety's sake. This is a good way to measure how much space is required. And if it isn't safe to pass, don't. Be cautious, be patient, and most of all, be safe.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Ann Arbor Tonight. Yes, thank you so much. Thank you. So first of all, we have DJ Ell with us. All right. DJ Ell, what a great set, man. Awesome, awesome stuff. Thank you so much for coming on the show tonight. How are you?
I'm great. It's
Yeah?
great to be here. It's great
Yeah?
to finally be here. I know we've tried
Yeah.
to make it happen for a little bit. So
Totally. But you're a busy man. I mean, globally traveled, going around all over Europe, all over the world. but from right here in Ann Arbor. So we're extremely fortunate to have you here, man.
It's my pleasure.
And just great stuff. And you know, I wanted to ask you too. I mean, since I've got you here, you know, in your own words, why is Ann Arbor a great place for music?
It's great because there's not just one type of music here. You know, you have like a huge, not even huge, you have like a specific hip-hop scene, which is very unique here. And I've gone to other places, Boston, New York, all these other places, and they have their own hip-hop scene, but Ann Arbor is very much influenced off of the Detroit hip-hop scene, right?
Yep.
Could be at J Dilla, Slum Village, all this stuff.
Yep.
So super unique, right? But then there's also this hipster indie scene. There's a small enough jazz scene that it's a real scene, and we're right outside of Detroit and these other places, Chicago and stuff.
Yeah.
So we're influenced by so many places. So it's a wonderful place for music, but it is small.
Yep.
So keep that in mind.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, you know, you've done so much already, you know, as a musician and just traveling around and, you know, done great things with very big names. What was it that first sort of got you interested in music? I mean, I know you studied that as well.
Yeah. Well, when I was young, apparently, so I moved here from New York when I was about 4 or 5.
Okay.
And I went to, like, this is all what my parents tell me, right? So I went to see the Nutcracker or something at the Power Center.
Sure.
And my mom said there were some kids playing violin on the stairs. And I was like, Mom, I want to do what they're doing. So I started playing violin at 5. And then at 11, I did the average thing of like a kid wanting to do something cooler than classical violin, because I did that all the time, practiced every day. I went to group lesson, went to private lesson, did the whole thing.
Sure.
So my dad was like, hey, DJing would probably be really cool. So I started with that, got my first pair of turntables from DJ Knowledge in Detroit. Been DJing ever since.
Nice.
That was when I was probably 11 or 12, 7th, 8th grade.
Nice.
Whatever year that is, yeah.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
What do you think, I mean, as a DJ and a guy that's sort of been in the music business now for a while, I mean, what do you think are the biggest misconceptions sort of in your profession?
Well, it's really funny. So, like, if you ever have, like, a girlfriend or boyfriend, whatever your choosing is, you know, you meet their parents, like their dad. They don't really think it's a real job.
What?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then another thing is, like, it can be a full-time job if you put everything into it. Like, I gave up all my weekends. I gave up my Saturdays, Fridays, my weekdays, all that stuff as a kid growing up, just so I could learn how to do something, right? So I spent that time in my room. Yeah, and from that, I was able to have a kind of okay career. I've been able to travel, you know?
Yeah.
And I did more than I ever thought I would be able to.
Yeah, I mean, you guys, it's funny because you say more than okay, and yet you've, you know, done some of the biggest clubs in Spain and toured with amazing artists. I mean, you know, Wiz Khalifa to name one of them, and just done a lot of great stuff. I mean, you're doing pretty well, but, you know. You know, can you, I mean, every performer has one, right? I've got some, you've got some, but is there a funny memory that sticks out to you when you've been traveling or when you were doing a set of something that's happened sort of on stage or backstage, and can you share that with us?
Put me in the spot a little bit.
Oh, man.
Well, I guess, yeah, right. I guess it's not really funny.
Okay.
I'm sure the second we leave here, I'm gonna be like, oh, I should have said that, right?
All right.
I don't know. I was doing the Taylor Gang tour, which is
okay.
Wiz's group, and this is not funny at all. I don't know why I'm talking about this.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we had this show, and the sound guy sets us up and does all this stuff. This is in Morgantown, West Virginia, or something, right? Sets us up. The dude leaves. The sound dude leaves. The speakers blow. The mics stop working.
No.
As Chevy Woods and all of them come up, and yeah, that's the story. It's not funny.
Oh. Well, no. I mean, looking back on it now, though, you've been through that. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you guys got everything worked out.
No.
No, you didn't.
That's really bad.
Oh, man. Well, no, but, you know, I mean, at least we're laughing about it now because, you know, the great thing is that, you know, you've been through that and you're better because of it. You know how to handle that. And also, hopefully, people know how to have backup equipment and all that.
Yeah, I mean, another thing is, like, people like to get really, like, worked up, and in the moment, they get really nervous, anxious, and just kind of pissy, right?
Right.
So it's kind of like finding a way to be in situations like that without flipping out, basically, right?
Right.
And since I was able to come in or be in situations like that as a young kid, at this point, like,
Right.
my mixer stopped working during that, but, like, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, it's just life, like, that happens.
Yeah, man.
And it's really, at the end of the day, it's not a big deal.
Right. Exactly. I mean, we're sitting here, we're enjoying life, we're alive, and we're still able to do the things we love.
Yeah, I get to go home and then DJ later tonight. Like, it's cool.
There
Like,
you
life
go.
still, things like, it keeps moving, you know?
Yeah.
So if, like, it messes up, then whatever.
Yeah, man. No, you're good. You're good. So here's a cool thing about you, though. You're from Ann Arbor, and you went to this, so you went to what, Scalene, was it? No, Skyline, I'm sorry. No, I went to Pioneer, so I had to do that. I had to do that. But Skyline. So you're in
Skyline,
Ann
yeah.
Arbor. You're in Ann Arbor right through and through.
Yeah.
I mean, you went to high school here, but you teach music to local youth here in Ann Arbor too.
Yeah.
So and host a community DJ workshop. So can you talk a little bit about that? I mean, what are the age requirements to take a class? Do you teach all ages?
Yeah. So for the workshop, I do it. The DJ workshop is on Tuesdays from 6 to 7:30 at the Ann Arbor Neutral Zone, which is downtown on 310 East Washington.
Sure.
And this is a space where everyone can come. This is where I grew up. You know, I had a mentor, Alvin Hill, when I was younger.
Yep.
And this is where I learned from him. So this is a space where high school age students, 9th to 12th grade, can come learn DJing, audio production, music production, video editing, screen printing, all that stuff.
Wow.
So it's a great space for, if you have high school age youth, it's somewhere for them to go and be productive.
Right.
And not hang around at home or on the street or doing whatever else.
Right.
So that's that. Yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, what motivated you to sort of start doing that?
Well, I was lucky enough that they asked me to do it.
Okay.
Right, so that was amazing. But since I grew up there, and it really gave me my head start to DJing, I kind of felt that I needed to kind of give that back, because when I was in these kids' age, I don't want to say I was lucky, but I was able to have opportunities, right, that I didn't think would happen ever.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to be able to give other folks that opportunity too. And also, here's my pet peeve, for kids not to just grow up and learn on controllers and software-based computer DJing, right? So they can learn vinyl, they can learn CDJs, they can manage when they go outside of their area or their hometown and not just play on a little controller or computer, you know?
Sure.
So I wanted to give them the widest variety of stuff so they can make it in the world and make it a real thing if they choose to pursue it.
Totally.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's an interesting perspective that you say in that, because I think, you know, not that guys that use their laptop a whole lot or digital software to DJ are bad, but you're saying that there's more to the profession than that.
Yeah, it's more than like a sync button. Like if you see over there, I still use turntables,
Yep.
right? I still use a laptop on the side, but the laptop is just to host all of our music,
Yep.
so we don't have to bring crates of records anymore, right? Which is not as practical as it could be, because you have to buy 2 copies of every record,
Yep.
right? And they wear out. All these things happen. So if you can have your whole set, your whole night in a laptop on a hard drive, it's so much easier,
Yeah,
right? You know
for
what I mean?
sure, man. Technology, it does. It can be beneficial, definitely.
Totally.
So,
Yeah.
what is your favorite venue to perform in the city, in Ann Arbor?
Here, Blind Pig.
Blind Pig.
I love the Blind Pig.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I used to get, like, my dad used to drive me by it, and I'd be like, wow, if I could just play, like, at the Blind Pig, then that's where, like, real people play gigs, right?
Why the Pig for you?
It was the spot. Like, the Arc is the spot for folks who want to do acoustic music or folk music.
Yep.
But the Pig was a spot for people touring. All the people on their way up in life were coming through the Pig. All the tours were happening, all the pop, the hip hop, all these things were happening at the Pig.
Nirvana even played there.
Everyone. I think Jimmy's played, like, everyone's played at the Pig. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My first big show was there. I did Twisted's The Perfect Storm. That first show, the first, like, real concert I ever did was at the Pig, too. So,
Wow. Wow, that's awesome,
yeah,
man.
the Pig is the spot.
Heck
Oh,
yeah.
and now we host Ann Arbor's monthly live hip-hop night at the Pig.
Oh, no way.
Yep.
Really?
So we just moved to Wednesday. The last Wednesday of every month, we do live hip-hop at the Blind Pig.
Awesome. Last Wednesday of every month,
There you
folks.
go.
Blind Pig,
Yeah.
live hip hop. That's awesome. So here's another one too. For all the young artists out there that are watching or come across this, what advice do you have for them?
So what I didn't know when I was coming up, I thought maybe I could DJ and that'd be it, right? But then you soon come to realize, especially with the help of mentors and people who are older and have gone through this already, that you have to wear multiple hats to survive, unless you're very lucky, unless you're like the 0.2%, right? So that means if you're going to be a DJ, like, learn how to do other things. For me, that was to study music business management at Berkeley, right? So I did that, but then I also became a mixing and mastering engineer. So during the daytime, I work at studios. between here and Boston. I did in Spain too. And I'm a mixing engineer and a mastering engineer. So clients can send in their stuff. Artists from the community who didn't have the chance to have their music sound commercial now have the chance to do that. And since I do radio every Saturday, now they have someone who can mix their music, master their music, so it sounds like a commercial record, and put it on FM radio.
Nice.
So that's like something that people didn't have the opportunity to do.
Yeah.
So there was a void, and I try to fill it.
Dude, I mean, you don't try to fill it, you are doing it. That's the key. And DJ Ell, you have one of the coolest radio shows in the city, WCBN Radio, right here in Ann Arbor.
Yeah.
It's probably like, what, the oldest hip-hop show?
I think it's
around,
the oldest hip-hop show running in the Midwest or the U.S. as a whole. It's been going since 1988 with DJ Chill Will.
Nice.
And when I was in...
What's the show called?
The Prop Shop.
The Prop Shop.
Yep.
There we go.
Saturday nights, 9 to midnight.
Nice.
The show, I went as a guest because when I was younger, I tried to get on the station, right? So I was this little middle schooler, and I submitted the demo tapes, and I don't think the station manager liked me very much because I was just a little kid, right?
Man.
Submitting demo tapes, and I want to be on air. Right. He let me have a guest spot. It went awful. It was total. I had a Dell laptop, didn't work, nothing. And then he got me a second time. He let me on the station too. That blew my mind. I shouldn't have gone on a second time. He let me on. I blew that up too. Sucked, right? And then I've been coming back ever since. So now I've been the co-host of that show since 2008.
Wow, man.
Off of 2 failed shows.
Wow.
You know, and a bunch of denied submission tapes.
No, but that's an amazing journey. I mean, it's right here in Ann Arbor.
Yeah.
You know, WCBN. I mean, great show. And you know, when you were that young, walking in the station, I'm sure they thought you just wanted a popsicle.
Yeah, I mean, I was that age, and I was especially that height.
Yeah. No, for sure. But also just a very bad American Graffiti reference.
Yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, I know.
I get it now. Huh?
Yeah. You know, how can those watching see you perform and keep up with what you're doing?
Yeah, so I guess, like we were talking about earlier, it's really hard to keep up in today's world with your career, whether that's music, entertainment, whatever you do, the arts. And then on top of that, be a social media guru, you know, and do all these things at once, because artists and entrepreneurs are expected to do so many things, the whole package.
Yeah.
You know, instead of having a team do all these, you do it all yourself.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to do that. I think the best way to keep up with me is on my website, thatdjell.com, ThatDJELL.com, or for engineering related stuff, production, that's IamL.com.
For sure.
And that has all my events, my tour dates, my travel dates, radio stuff, radio shows,
Heck yeah.
all that stuff. And if you're an artist and you want to get on radio, you know, feel free to hit me up and we can have you at CBN.
Heck yeah, man.
And yeah.
Dude, no, definitely. And thank you so much. I wish you the best in all your shows and all your tours. Wish you continued success, and let's have you back.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you,
sounds
sir.
good. Thank you so much, DJ Ell. I want to thank you, everybody. That is our show for tonight. DJ Ell, I want to thank our wonderful comedian, Jeff Ford. I want to thank Miss United States, Alyssa DelTorre. I want to thank Matt, the crew, Robert, everybody at CTN for putting up with me tonight. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time.